Welcome back to the exPEERience podcast. This is a continuation of our last episode. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Marquita. And so in the last episode, we were really just kind of talking about our reason for doing this podcast and kind of how people aren't willing to like open up. And so in this part two, we're going to kind of talk about how people don't want to deal with their own problems. And so they use certain tactics to escape. And maybe even talk about why people choose to escape. But for now, Brittany's going to kind of talk about some of her coping mechanisms or what, the ones that you used to use, you said?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think I had, so for example, like my grandmother passed away 2020. So when she passed away, of course, I'm emotional, like that's my grandmother, whatever. And instead of me feeling like I wanted to really like approach what I was feeling, I was like, I'm about to go on vacation. Like, I want to go on vacation. I don't want to, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to cry. I don't want to do any of that. And I realized that I was just trying to avoid how I was feeling about the situation. I was trying to avoid grieving it. I just didn't want to be sad. And, when I realized that because I wasn't willing to be sad, that it took me longer to, it just took me longer to grieve. Like, it took me longer to, realize, damn, this really does affect me. So it was affecting me for a lot longer because I was avoiding it in the beginning. And I've done that a lot in my life. I know, let's say I'm in a relationship with someone and I don't know how to deal with the situation in that particular moment, I will literally just turn my phone off. That's literally how I will avoid it, turn my phone off and just completely not deal with it at all, because I just didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to have a healthy conversation about how I was feeling in the moment, because I'm like, is this person even about to hear me? Do you really care about how I feel? Like, I'm thinking all of these things except for just expressing in that moment, like, how I feel,
And that's crazy. Like, because just listening to what you said, it's kind of like nobody wants to deal with problems. Like, nobody wants to go through hard times and deal with issues, but then we just welcome it with open arms because we don't deal with it. So it's like when you're not dealing with it right then and there, it escalates. Like you said, like you're not talking to whatever partner about what happened in the relationship. Now your mind is just sitting there just thinking, making your own assumptions, probably becoming more resentful towards that person. And then you deal with it. And sometimes when you talk to that person about it, it might have just been a misunderstanding, a miscommunication. And then you just like, damn, I was just miserable for a month because I didn't want to talk to my boyfriend, but we just misunderstood each other. So it's like you're giving yourself more problems, but then we say we don't want problems. So like how does that make sense? And we all do it.
Yeah, we do. It literally doesn't make sense, but it's easy. And so that makes sense. It's easier to just say, okay, fuck it. I don't want to do this right now. I'm just chilling. And then it's also, because it could go two ways. Sometimes it's, I need to actually have that second. I got to take a step back, because if I don't take a step back, I'm not in a space to actually communicate this to you in a healthy way that I won't regret what I'm about to say in this moment. So yes, I need to take a step back in this particular moment, and then we can come back, regroup, and then have a conversation. But if that's the situation, cool. But if it's, I'm just avoiding it. And then, cause I literally, no bull, I would literally say, screw the conversation. Like we have an argument and I'd be like, I just will ignore the text message, hang up the phone, be done with it. The next day, pretend like nothing happened. No, like really did that. You know what I'm saying? I can admit it because I ain't trying to do that shit no more. But I really was doing shit like that. Like
I did that too plenty
like,
of times.
next day, fuck it, it's a new day. but how? You know, because the person on the other end is affected by that. And it's really fucked up. Because then if I had to think, if I'm in that person's shoes, and I'm like, well, damn, we really just going to skip past this? Like, you wasn't just hanging the phone up on me. You wasn't just wilding my life out. And I feel some type of way about this situation. That's not cool. Like, we need to have the conversation, and we can either disagree to disagree, or we can come up with a solution of what to do going forward or whatever.
You meant agree to disagree?
What I say?
You said disagree to disagree.
Oh shit. Agree to disagree.
I mean, yeah, we like humans, we literally just make it like harder on ourselves. I feel like, because like even just in an example, you gonna wake up the next day, pretend like nothing happened, we just gonna go about our day. But then when we have an argument 3 days from now that's going to be the argument, and then what happened 3 days ago, and then what happened a week and a month before that. Like I've done that so many times, like just sitting here having a conversation about why I'm upset and asking that person why they're upset. And then we're like, well, last week you did this and I did that. Or no, like, remember last month I wasn't acting, I'm like, well, why are we talking about an argument? And so now we arguing about 5 different things. And then we it gets so crazy for me, because the argument just like, we have an argument that's worth it. And then it turns into like arguing about like, don't put your shoes right there. Yeah. Or I do the laundry and you don't help, like, I'm just like, arguments become so fucking petty.
Yeah.
Because
no,
I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying it's nuts, because it really just ties into like your emotional intelligence. And it just takes some time. Like, it really takes time, because
practice.
And you really just wanting to not do the shit you used to do. Like, it ain't an easy thing, because in the moment you really just be wanting to say screw the person and how they feel. But like, to be emotionally mature, you have to understand that everybody has feelings, and it's not going to be exactly what you feel. And you just have to be understanding of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just not an easy thing. It's just not easy.
I'm like tripping off you saying emotional intelligence right now, because I was literally just thinking about that the other day. I was literally like, yo, I've really grown in terms of like emotional intelligence. Now, I'm not like always perfect. Sometimes like I literally do tell myself, you know what? I don't want to give in. I don't want to be the bigger person. I don't want to accept the way that you feel. I don't want to be honest that I made a mistake. Sometimes like I just want to be mad, but just
pause.
Okay, so like I was saying, in terms of emotional intelligence, there are times where I'm stubborn enough to just say, you know what, like this time, like I just want to let it out. This time I want to release whatever like build up or anger or aggression that I have inside of me. So sometimes I'm not always, gonna decide to, be aware of the situation and kind of, analyze it before I start acting out of emotions. And I don't know, I just feel like a lot of the times with people, like people don't really want to hold themselves accountable. We talked about that. So people don't want to hold themselves accountable for what they did, but they always just want to blame it on somebody else or something else. And so I feel like people should really study and kind of learn what emotional intelligence is. I had a situation that was similar to this. It was with one of my professors, a psychology professor. This girl, she was kind of like venting about this project that we had to do because she was confused. She didn't know what to do. And so she told the professor, she was like, yeah, we've been doing research for 3 days and we can't find anything. And so the professor just kind of just cut her off. And she was like, what? She was like, you're telling me you've been doing this for 3 days? And she's like, you're not a child. You guys are adults. She said, I'm not making this hard. And it's not about what I'm telling you to do. I'm trying to get you guys to learn, the field and blase, blase. And like, she's just going in. I just thought it was interesting, like to, just kind of shows like we're just all human. Like this is a professor, like she's been in this field for how many years, and she couldn't,
Psychology?
yeah, psychology. And she couldn't keep her emotions in line, and she's reacting off of this other girl's emotion. But as a professor, you need to assist. That's what you're being paid for. You're assisting the student. You don't need to wow out because she's telling you that she's having a hard time. Why not just say, well, I'm sorry this has been a struggle for you, but let me help you like with some techniques on how to do research. But instead, like she's like saying you guys aren't children, insinuating that the girl was whining, and she just going off. And I mean, it didn't affect me, it didn't bother me
Yeah.
because I was, I didn't like get emotionally involved. After the situation was over, I was like, okay, well, she's going through something. I'm glad I didn't react. I'm not gonna hold, any, ill feelings towards her because we're all human.
Yeah.
Professor, not professor, parent, teacher, student, whoever, like we're all just human and we all have our bad days or our little triggers where you're gonna say this to me and now I'm triggered. And so I was like, that's what she's going through. Glad I didn't take it personal and I kept it moving. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just funny to me, like just to see like how people can kind of like if they are triggered or like by something that might have happened in the past and how they just like react out of emotions when they're supposed to be people that you would consider to be very emotionally intelligent.
Yeah. But then it's also just one of those things where it's like, like you said, people are also just human. So she might have just been having a bad day. And I know I've held a lot of some people to certain standards based on where I felt like they were emotionally. Like I felt like, okay, this person is at this level of whatever. And I think a lot of people do the same with me. Like Brittany, she's grown, she's da, 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 da. So as soon as I have a moment where I'm like, fuck this shit, or however I'm feeling, people are like, Brittany, like what? And my response is, I'm human. You know what I'm saying? Like, and of course, I'm a little bit quicker now to be like, oh, damn, I really did have a fucking moment. I apologize to whom I impacted, because that just actually just happened to me where me and my sister kind of had a disagreement. And it really wasn't a disagreement. It was just like, I think it was frustration from my end. And I ended up hanging the phone up and I apologized, right? So she said, this is how I feel. This is how you made me feel. So initially, I didn't want to be the bigger person. I wanted to revert back to my old ways. But then I realized I'm the bigger sister. Two, I've grown a lot and I have to acknowledge how she feels, even if I don't agree with it. So I said, I apologize for Bob hanging up. And, we wasn't like arguing on the phone. It was just, I was done. I felt like I was done with the conversation. So I hung the fucking phone up. I'm not gonna lie to you. And when I apologized, she said, fuck your apology. Now, in that moment, I could have had the angel on my shoulder telling me, Brittany, respond this way. And I could have had the devil on my shoulder telling me, Brittany, respond this way. I took the high road and I said, I still apologize. Regardless of your saying fuck my apology, I still apologize, because at the end of the day, she was having a moment. She was upset that I did what I did, and that's how she felt. And I can't hold her to that. Like, I really could have been mad, and I could have responded like, you know what, fuck you too.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I guess when it comes to that, just accepting people for who they are, right? Like, so you can't really, you can lead by example, right? So you can have that good attitude when you're having disagreement with people, and you can kind of try to solve the situation instead of just pointing fingers. But if that other person isn't willing to do that, or they can't do that, you have to accept that and
Yeah.
love them anyway. And then I feel like as time moves on, when you continue to handle these arguments in an appropriate manner, that person ain't gonna, they're not gonna have no reason to say fuck this, fuck that about you. They're not gonna have a reason to, you know, hang up the phone, because they see how mature you're acting in the situation, and they just gonna, you know, it's just going to happen organically. Like, there's no reason for them to keep cursing you out and hanging up on you and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
that's what I've noticed, because I'm usually very defensive. Like, I don't want to be wrong, right? So if I'm having an argument with people, like with somebody, and they're telling me I did this and that, like, I'm usually carrying it on, defending myself, and then eventually that takes me to like pointing fingers at the other person. But I feel like just not contributing to the argument and making it worse, and kind of just accepting the past for the past. This happened. How can we move forward? Why did this impact you? Okay, I'll be mindful of that, because people, maybe she don't like people hanging up on hanging up on her. Maybe all her exes used to hang up on her. So when you hang up on her, she feels devalued. You know what I mean? So just understanding that if people are getting mad about something, it's probably a reason. Even if you don't understand, even if you don't agree, they probably have a legitimate reason, because it's their life, it's their story. And you just kind of just got to accept that about them. And once you know you accept them, they might start changing, because they'll see like, okay, well, just because these people did this to me doesn't mean that everybody's going to do this to me, if that makes sense.
No, that's real. I know sometimes I don't be caring.
Yeah, I mean, of course we don't, because I mean, we all
Fuck, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, we're all stubborn, so I don't know. It's just about you understanding that that stubbornness is also it's affecting you. It's not just affecting that person. That's you know, not, that's making you lose sleep at night. It's not just something that is a one-way street. If you know, want to be stubborn, then you're going to be thinking about it just like the other person going to be thinking about it. So, I mean, that's something that I have to realize going into any type of disagreement or somebody rubbing me wrong. I have to say, how much of this do I want to put into my life?
Yeah.
And if I don't really care, I might just, you know, be reckless, be disrespectful. But if I want to have a peaceful rest of my day, if I want to sleep good tonight, then I'm like, look, let's just nip it in the butt. And like, I do that with you a lot. Like, I'll be hitting you up and I'm probably getting on your nerves. I'll text you real quick, you know, after I had, maybe I didn't give you a chance, but I had already sat there. I thought about the situation, was like, I don't know, this is still bothering me. And I'll hit you up and I'll say, hey, you know, like, I just want to talk about this, or I'll ask you a question. Well, why is this, or why is it that? And it's because I'm like, if I don't sit there and talk to Brittany about this, I'm gonna make assumptions, and I'm gonna get the, you know, I'm gonna have the wrong impression of you, and I'm gonna associate that with who you are when it might not be the case. And so I'd rather just talk to you about it, figure out like where's your head. And if you're like, you know, like let's say it's a situation that you're just busy and you're like, I have like all this shit going on right now, then I'm like, all right, well, I'm asking her to just respond to me, but she's saying like she's too busy. So let me just understand like how, because you know, I'm always the main one. I don't care how busy you are, you have a second to send a text. I'm always saying that, but sometimes you don't want to send that text, because with that text is another text you got to send. And so just like in that sense, like I've learned to be more patient with people and more understanding that if you're too busy to send a text, then it's maybe because you're overwhelmed and you need, you know, you need to be less overwhelmed. So I don't want to contribute to that. I'll just be like, all right, fine, cool. I'll keep it moving. But
Yeah. That's why I be trying to keep that in mind. Like when people respond to you in a certain type of way and they're being like assholes and they're just rude as fuck, like, you know, most of the time it's not you. Like it's not rooted in anything that you did. it's just rooted in who they are and what they're going through at that particular moment. And you just happen to be the person in the, you know, crossfire of it. Like, and of course, like sometimes you're going through something during that crossfire as well. So then the crossfire becomes more fire and then it's just flames everywhere. But then there's moments where you're able to take a step back and realize like, damn, this person must just be going through something that ain't got, that's not for me. You know what I'm saying? That's your stuff. So you deal with it accordingly.
Yeah.
But I was gonna ask you, so like what do you feel like you've done, just to go back to like the coping mechanism, like what do you feel like you've done that was like a coping mechanism, like when you've gone through something, was it like, do you feel like you went to social media to kind of like escape, or do you feel like what was your
Like in the past?
mm-hmm.
Okay. Like, so we're talking about like unhealthy things, right? Okay. Um, I think like this is so petty. So I think like something that I often do, and this is for me, I was like in the past, so like a lot of the stuff I say is gonna be about relationships. Because in the past I was like boy crazy. Even in my last relationship with a woman, you know, I was like obsessed with her. So like I always love, I love relationship. So one thing that I did that I would say I'm definitely not proud of is if I ever was having issues in a relationship with somebody, or I felt neglected or whatever have you, one
Mm-hmm.
thing I would do is go get that attention like elsewhere. Right. And I'm not saying like in a, you know, not in a messy way where I'm like, I'm whole cheating, but in the past I would I do like, even if it's just me going on social media and on Twitter and knowing that that person followed me on Twitter and we have all the same friends on Twitter. I'm on Twitter talking or subtweeting somebody when I know, you know, the person that I'm with probably going to see that. And I'm just doing like harmless, innocent, but I'm really doing it to teach that person a lesson. So I'm not trying to, you know, get, you know, back at them by cheating or something like that. But I definitely would try to teach people a lesson, I would say. Like when people would, you know, piss me off, like I teach them a lesson. Like, I don't need you. I don't need like, you know, you need me more than I need you type stuff. And I think like to kind of make that make sense to what the question was, I would say that something that I would do to escape, especially when other people were involved, was to kind of like, you know, make them feel as bad as they were making me feel.
Mm-hmm. So, just to take it a step further, so let's say, you know, you went through something, or so I know for like myself, like some things that I've done as coping mechanism was, or something to help me get through stress, specifically when I'm at work, for example, is eating. So I would do a lot of stress eating. Like that was my go-to thing. Um, I would have snacks on snacks on snacks on deck, just on my desk somewhere. Like sometimes it'd be healthy. There'd be times where I go, like I might have a healthy, like some cashews and on the desk, but instead of eating the cashews, I would fucking go to 7-Eleven and get like some fucking Twizzlers or some shit that's disgusting, and like why the fuck am I putting that in my body? Um, and like I would be aware that I'm doing this shit, but it's like I need something to get out of, like, you know, because like when I'm thinking about coping mechanisms, I'm not even just thinking about like relationships. I'm thinking about like how you handle stress and how you are able to like just deal in general. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when we get through those, when we talk about how we're working through our coping mechanisms, the unhealthy coping mechanisms, then you can kind of talk about how to be vulnerable and how to share those uncomfortable truths and stuff like that. So
Well,
that's
you, oh no, I was just gonna say, and that's real, because like that's like one of the biggest things. Like when people are stressed out, one of the first things they do is to kind of go look for some type of substance to
Mhm.
make them feel better, and food included, you know, food,
Yeah.
alcohol, drugs,
Yeah.
whatever, you know, whatever unhealthy habit, you know, is your addiction, I guess. But I think that like with you saying that it's important, I guess it could be like some advice for people, like instead of choosing those unhealthy habits, to kind of just find healthy ways of doing it. Like
Mhm.
back when, for me, like when I was on, what, a few years ago, I was on some type of diet and I would be so hungry. And so instead, what I would do is I would go do some push-ups. Like every time I was like, I want to eat. Every time I thought about food, I would go like do push-ups.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think just like being able to like have a goal, like have goals in life, and kind of like use that to make yourself do something whenever you want to do something, you know, negative instead, if that makes sense. But I don't
Yeah.
know. At the same time, when it comes to stress and stuff like that, sometimes you just need to take a fucking break. Sometimes you just need to take a step back, watch TV, read a book, you know, go
Yeah.
out. But
And that's a good thing that you said that, because I feel like to an extent things can be really overstimulating and overwhelming. And sometimes you might do need to like escape a little bit, just to kind of like, because when it's to escape to recenter yourself, then okay, cool. You know, I think we are so used to just escaping, just to escape, just to escape, just to escape and get away from our problems, even though they don't go anywhere. So we might smoke a blunt, or we might have a drink or something. All of the shit will still just be there when it's over. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just going to be a factor in your life. You can't fuck your way out of it. What's the Solange say? I tried to drink it away. And like that song, Cranes in the Sky, oh my gosh. That song is so real. Like that song is like coping mechanism on 1,000. Like everything that she said in that song is so fucking real. Like I wish we could just play it right now. Like yo, I tried to fuck it away, I tried to drink it away, I tried to smoke it away. That shit didn't do nothing. My problems is still here. And that's what I'm trying to get at with people. Like it doesn't matter if you want to get on social media and you want to talk about what the fuck is going on in the next person's life. What's going on in yours?
yeah.
What you been dealing with? What haven't you addressed in your life? Why you keep avoiding it? Why you keep pushing it to the back burner? Why doesn't it matter to you? Why don't you matter to you? You know what I'm saying? That should be something that you want to talk about. That should be something that you should be willing to share. And I'm not trying to push my beliefs and my perspectives on other people. I'm just trying to get people to think.
Yeah. And people just don't know, like that's just going to keep you stagnant. Like if you just, you know, if you're not trying to worry about yourself and work on your own stuff, like you just going to stay in the same place. And like I was surprised. So my mother moved, just recently moved. Um and she kind of like, you know, just like restarting her life, and kind of like she's always been living for other people, and now she's trying to, you know, live for herself and do some of the things that, you know, she always wanted to do. And I was shocked one of these last times I talked to her, because she called me and she literally asked me, Marquita, how do you meditate? Right. And so I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you mean? She was like, do you just sit there with your legs crossed? And Megan started laughing because she thought that, you know, my mom was making fun of me. But she was really seriously asking me for advice on how to meditate. So, you know, I referred her to, you know, a Netflix show. I even told her what I did. I told her, you don't have to sit with your legs crossed. You can lay down if you want to. But the most important thing is clear your head, breathe and clear your head. And with
Yeah.
practice, you know, like, so I don't know, but it just made me happy, because I was always telling my mom, I would tell her, like, you should meditate. You should try meditating. And she would just laugh at me. I don't want to do that. She thought it was weird. But then she
Mm.
started doing it herself. And now every time I talk to her, she's like, oh, yeah, I didn't get to meditate yet. I think I'm going to start meditating in the morning. And like, she just always talking to me about how she's meditating and I see her being more productive and kind of doing the things that she want to do, because before that she was just always making excuses, you know. Oh, I didn't start yet because I got to do this. Oh, I didn't do this yet because I got to wait for that. But now, like, I see her working, she's giving me like, she's, you know, giving me updates, and like, I've been checking in with her because I, you know, I want to see her thrive and be happy and successful and live out her dreams, because life is short, you know. And so I don't know, that's just an example of how, like, you know, a situation where, like, you know, somebody took on like something that was healthy and they started growing,
Yeah.
right? They started growing. So they're not just going to go get high because they had a bad day at work. Like, if you want to smoke leisurely, fine. But every time you're stressed out, please don't go grab that blunt, because it's not, you, like you said, those problems are still going to be there. It's just a momentary escape. And you're never going to get anywhere if you keep doing the same things to try to avoid your problems. Just fucking deal with the fucking problems. Just deal with it. It's shorter. It takes less time to deal with it right then and there than to prolong that shit and have it just never disappear.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. But
we should,
no, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was going to say we should move on to the next one, but you go ahead.
No, I was just saying that, you know, it's just, damn, what the fuck was I about to say? I think I was just gonna say that it just doesn't feel good to continue to just be in that cycle of like escapism. Like, just deal with it. You're gonna feel so much more accomplished once you just be like, you know what? I dealt with that shit. It's over with.
Yeah, be in the present, you know, worry about
Be in the present.
but I had,
shit. Like, we giving like motivational speeches out this mug.
I mean, that's what I feel like, that's what the people need. Like, I'm just being honest, because like it's like one of the main reasons why I have not really been on social media, why I deleted it. I got it back, deleted it again, is because I literally go on there. I see so much fucking hate, right? And people think they're being funny, or people think that they're being cute or cool, but it's just so much hate. Like, people just saying like the most unnecessary things, you know? And I'm like, you saying these things, but it's making somebody else feel some type of way, especially if they can relate to it, right? So if you're on here talking about, I'm trying to think of it, fat people, right? If you're on here talking about like these, you know, these B words need to go lose some weight, right? Because that's something that I can see a bunch of people on my social media would probably say. So you on here saying that, but then you have a friend that's a bigger, you know, a bigger person. And so I'm just like, but why are you saying that? Like, why did you find it in your heart to say that? You were spreading, you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
You, like, it's literally just a part of the problem. People think it's so funny and so cute, but I feel like people do that as a way to keep themselves out of the spotlight, right? To keep their insecurities out of the spotlight. And that's why, like, I wanted to ask you, have you ever done this, or do you feel like a lot of people do that? A lot of people would throw somebody else under the bus just to save their own ass, or to stop themselves from being, you know, in everybody else's mouth.
I don't personally feel like I've ever like avoided from being the brunt of a bad situation, or like just put myself in.
I'm done eating.
Okay, thanks, Boo.
Now can you have that the fire?
X. I don't shy away from putting myself out there, and I've never just been like that. At least I don't recall. You know, now you can, if you recall any type of a moment in which I've done that on social media, let me know. But I feel like I've shared, I might have, like, I think you kind of talked about it before when you were upset and you might have went on social media looking for attention, But I think what I might have done is I might have said something out of being hurt by something that someone did to me, but it was never, but I'm still kind of putting myself out there because it's my situation, it's my relationship. But I've never been like, oh, I'm about to put this person down and I'm about to talk down on that person to kind of uplift myself in any fucking way. Absolutely fucking not. Because that's fucked up in my opinion. And I'm just a very nice person, I feel, until you fuck me over, of course. But even if you fuck me over, I'm not gonna be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna share what happened to me though. So if I experience something and I post it on social media, that's just what happened. I'm not gonna be like, oh, this nigga is a fucking whatever, and I'm just an angel. Like,
But let's go on that though, like the whole thing about you saying like, you know, it's messed up because I mean, I feel like it doesn't have to be intentional. I feel like sometimes it's an unconscious act. I feel like sometimes people don't even know that they're doing it. It's just kind of like, you know, all right, well, we talking about this now. So let's just like, you know, put the heat on this person because I'm going through this, I'm dealing with this. And, you know, I don't want nobody, you know, talking about me. So I don't even think that, you know, people that do it, and that's why like I'm saying it, you know, kind of hoping that, you know, maybe someone that does do this stuff would see this and kind of like, you know, take it into consideration and think about, you know, the results, I guess, of their actions. But I don't know. I just feel like people do it not even knowing that they're doing it because I feel like it is a coping mechanism. Like
yeah,
you said, like, you know, even though it might not seem like it, but it is like like, it goes back to how we were talking about people not wanting to be vulnerable, people not wanting to talk about what's going on in their lives. And like we said, talking about it could help you deal with the problem, you know, just like letting it out there could just be a release and, you know, acceptance of, you know, whatever you had to deal with in the past. But I feel like a lot of the times, like people like just jump to just talk about everybody else.
yeah.
Or, you know, I definitely did it before. I did it on Twitter. Um, and it's not like I posted a picture. I feel like still feel guilty. I thought about it the other day and I was like, damn, why did I do that? I posted a picture of this girl who I decided wasn't attractive. And I made a joke about her, right? This girl don't know to this day, still don't know, but like I just felt like so bad. Like, and I'm like, damn, like I look back at my 18-year-old self and I'm like, what were you thinking? Right? Like I don't consider myself to have ever been a bully, you know, but I sat there and I did that in this space where it was so easy for people to pick on you, right? It was on Twitter. It was so easy for people to gang up on you and pick on you and make jokes about you and make you, you know, make you the joke of the day. And so I took it upon myself because I didn't want nobody coming for me. I posted that and everybody was laughing and everybody was talking about it, but nobody was talking about me. And so I feel like people do it often and might not even realize they're doing it. But I can admit I did it before, you know, but I'm moving forward.
I don't actually remember doing something like that, but what I will say is that I feel like people like from where we from in Baltimore, like it's a thing to kind of pack people. Like it's a thing to kind of like joke about people and make fun. And we used to do that a lot. You know what I'm saying? It was normalized for us to just fucking go around just making fun of each other to the point where nobody was like, oh, this is an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like we really was just go in on each other. Like I remember one of my friends told me I looked like a Nike boot. Like my profile picture on the Twitter
You're
looked
like,
like
what?
a Nike boot. Cause I had on like I had on like this brown shirt and it was like it had like little ruffles in the front. And like, you know, niggas is just on doing pack sessions. And niggas like, yo, your Twitter Abby looked like a Nike boot. And you know, everybody laughing, retweeting it and shit. Like, but that's what we're accustomed to. Like, we just go in on each other, like we just pack each other. And it's like if you're from Baltimore, then it's like we've normalized it to being a form of endearment, but it's actually kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Like,
And
it's
like when,
actually, huh?
no, I was gonna say, what is innocent and everybody laughing and in a situation like that, like you packing, that's cool. But
Yeah.
when you bring in somebody that has like nothing to do with
Nothing to
like,
do with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I did, like, but that's what I did. Like I said, in my past, in my youth, I did a lot of shady shit. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the stuff that I did was out of my character, but because I saw other people doing it
Yeah.
and those people were cool for doing it, I decided, all right, like, oh, I can do it too. But I go back like at the age of 30 and I look back at a lot of the shit that I did. And like now I'm here and I'm able to say, okay, like, maybe it was funny at the time, but I like, why did you do that? That's not who you are. That's not who you were raised to be. And so, but like I said, the only way that I was able to learn is because somebody called me out for something else. And then I started thinking about other shit similar, that I did. So I don't know. It's just, it's wild. I don't know. I feel like I keep bringing that up though. I feel like I keep like talking about like people talking about other people on social media. And I think it's making it sound like, somebody did that to me, but that's not the case. It's just like, it makes it uncomfortable for other people as well. Like nobody wants to be surrounded by negativity all day. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's what you get on Facebook. You don't really get it as much on Instagram, but I feel like a lot of it is on Facebook, just, coming from people in general, because someone's too big, someone does, even people that do drugs, like saying crackhead, like people literally struggle with substance abuse, right? And they just need help. But you got people talking about junkies, like junkies this, junkies that. How about you show some sympathy, and understand like people aren't just doing drugs because they were just born a crackhead. Like, and I'm sorry for using that word, but people don't just become like that. People go through stuff and then they use it as a coping mechanism. But we sit there and we still just go on there and we say these things, but we don't understand what impact they have on other people. Like we literally have no regard for our words and how they might affect other people on social media. Everybody can see it.
Yeah. No, it's some really mean fucking people in this world. Like, and it's like, because of social media, it's just social media has created this platform that people can hide behind the screen and be fucked up and like literally never be accountable for it. Like you can create a fucking fake account and just go in on people and then nobody can track you, figure out who the fuck you are. Like you can be anybody and like it's literally acceptable and it's fucking crazy. Like I don't even have the words for it, but it's mostly because people feel so low on the inside that why not lift myself up and tear somebody else down in that process? Because this is what this society, this is what this country is built on, division. So in order for us to keep division, I need to like say what the fuck I'm gonna say about you. I'm gonna be rude. I'm gonna be an asshole. And we're going to keep this going. When you have a differing of opinions, I'm going to ridicule you, get somebody to agree with me, and we just going to make fun of your ass, and you're going to be the talking stock of the town. Like, it's really fucking ridiculous. Like, I don't have the words. I really don't. But
How do you? No, go ahead.
No, I just said that's the reality of the situation. Like, and to me, it's like, it seems like it has to be that way. Duality. Like we're not going to get to a space where everybody is just going to treat each other with reverence and be nice and kind and understanding of what the other person could potentially go through.
Because what if the majority of us start doing it though? Like what type of impact could that have though? Maybe not everybody will do it, but if the majority could.
I don't know. Because that's like, it just depends on, but then you would have to have people feel like they would thrive off of positivity when a lot of people don't, because a lot of people are miserable and it's not their fault. It has a lot to do with the government. It has a lot to do with the plate that people are dealt sometimes. They have no like they have no structure outside of chaos. Like
Yeah.
that's, and I just was having this conversation earlier with someone, like just explaining to her that she is in the cycle of pain, and it's just become normalized for her to be in pain and be in trauma and turmoil, and people just thrive off of that. You know, some people don't know how to escape from that.
And
So
that's,
yeah,
no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right. So, because I don't want us to keep going back and forth saying that. But no, I was just gonna say that book, the book that you already read, the one that I'm reading now, I'm not gonna say the name of it, but you know, it was really just talking about like,
Mhm.
but that's how it is. Like the mind, the ego, it operates off of bad things, you know, like because that's what it has to kind of do in order to survive, right? Like it has to have a new problem each day. It has to, you know, be sad and depressed and stuff like that because that's how it, I don't know, I guess it makes itself important.
Mhm.
And like I know that's not exactly like what it says, but you know, that's what I kind of got from it. And it's like so we every day we have to have a problem. Every day we want to, you know, somebody has to piss us off and stuff like that instead of just kind of just being like I'm okay. I have everything I need, you know, I'm blessed, you know, being like showing gratitude. Instead of doing that, we always trying to find new problems, new ways to not just be happy. But I'm like,
Yeah.
why? I don't understand why. Like, why choose chaos though?
Maybe some people feel like it makes you more seasoned as a person. If you're like, and I don't want to say, and maybe not to choose it, but to have it in your life to an extent. Like your life not always going to be peaches and roses all the fucking time,
Yeah.
but maybe some people feel like that's all they know. Like it can be environmental, it could be like what they just experience from their family and their parents and stuff like that. Like it really just runs deep. It could be anything. And you know, when you're just in it and you just have like literally just indebted yourself in that space, it's hard to like break away from it. It's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
do I really want to be positive? Is it like it feels too like this feels so unfamiliar? That is fear. Fear. Fear of the unknown. Because if I start being happy, something can happen. So let me stay in fear and comfortability.
And low expectations at that. Like if you put it that way, like just not having, you know, not even understanding your worth and like what you're capable of, but just having low expectations. And I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know, I guess that could just kind of result from, you know, like you said, how you grew up, like whatever cards you were dealt, like what your life situation is. And I don't know. It's like for me, like it's just sad, but I can't really speak on it too much because if I had never started reading again in general, if I had never started reading again, I wouldn't be where I am right now, like trying to, you know, work on choosing the opposite of chaos, you know, to be peaceful, to live in the moment, to not worry about 3 months from now and to not focus on what happened yesterday, you know, to kind of just say, all right, well, I'm like, I survived, I'm alive, I'm not dead. Let me focus on like being better right now, being happier right now. Like a lot of people don't do that. You literally still fighting about like I know people that still don't talk to each other that fought over the same girl or something like that. Like some girl that's not dating neither one of them, whole new relationship. Like I know people that still don't talk to each other because we dated the same person. I'm just like, this is insanity. Like this is crazy. Y'all can't do business together no more because y'all fighting over some girl from a long time ago. So you're remaining stagnant because y'all could have worked together and, you know, been successful in whatever it is that you're doing. But instead, you want to still, you know, not make plans, not move forward. You want to stay there and still be pissed at that person and ruin the friendship and the work relationship. And, you know, now you just back where you know, I don't know. It's just, it's a lot, but like, it's hard to kind of like, I feel like we kind of sound like we preaching, you know, like I feel like we sound like we preaching, and I'm only saying it because I feel like, I hope people understand where we're coming from. I hope we're breaking it down properly, but like, it's real shit, you know, like you don't
I
have
mean,
to. No, go ahead, Bernie.
no, I was just saying, like, unfortunately, like, this is what it is, man. Like, these conversations this is the conversations that have to be had. Like, at the end of the day, it just is what the fuck it is. You know, like, I don't want to come off preachy either, but this is real fucking life. Like, we go through shit, we become accustomed to going through shit, and we make it okay when it's not okay. And it doesn't get to the point, and once it gets to that point of you're physically feeling not good, like, oh, my skin is like itching, or like I got a migraine, or my chest hurts, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you're making yourself ill, you know, and it's not, because I know I did that. I was so stressed out. I was so in so much pain. I went through so much stuff. I wanted to sit in depression for a while, and I was physically starting to not feel well. And so, in order for me to not get to that place anymore, I'm like, no, I don't want to keep doing this shit. I'm perfect, so I go back and forth sometimes, but like, yo, this shit is important to talk about because people are going through this. Like, so we can talk about entertainment all day.
Yeah.
Sure, we can have fun. I like to have fun. I likes to have fun. But I also got to get to it. Like, it's people that look up to people. Like, that's another thing. We all grab inspiration from someone in this world. So it's going to be people that get it and feel like it makes sense and it's needed. And it's going to be people that's like, you fucking preaching. I don't want to hear this shit. Next, like, talk about Kanye and Kim Kardashian. All right, bye.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's fun, you know, but I'm like, there's other ways to have fun.
Yeah.
There's like, you can have fun living your dreams. You can have fun creating. Like, you don't have to have fun talking about nonsense. Like,
Mhm.
it's just like, will you really, like, the shit that we be talking about, the shit that we be arguing about, like, it does not matter. And that's what bothers me so much. I'm like, this shit just does not matter. Can we talk about something that matters? Can we finally talk about mental health and not about who wore, why did that person wear that to the VMAs? Why is it there at the VMAs? You're watching an award show. Why do you care? Why do we make it about what the person is wearing? We
Yeah.
want to see if our favorite artist won the award, but we too busy focused on who wore what. Like, it's weird. Why does it matter? What the fuck are clothes anyway? Like, what do clothes have to do with anything, you know? But I don't know. I just feel like people need to start understanding that it's not all about like the physical stuff, like how much money you got, what shoes you wearing, you know? It's not all about like all of that. Like, your mental health is what is really important. I feel like we don't like to talk about our problems, and it's kind of like how you said, that shit has an impact on your body. Like,
Yeah.
from you know, your work in healing, from what I've learned in psychology, like, this shit's like real. It happened to me, it happened to you. I literally was so stressed out, like, I gained weight, my face started breaking out. I haven't gotten my menstrual cycle. I don't know, that's TMI, but you know, I haven't. It's the truth. Like, I feel like I have a hormonal imbalance. Like, I just, you know, this shit really has an impact on you. And that's why for me, it was important for me to kind of start, you know, shifting my way of thinking, because with my stress and the effect that it had on me, I had to choose that, like, I had to make that decision. Like, do you want to continue to just bitch and complain and be upset every day that you wake up? Do you really want to stay up until three? I used to stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning. The sun will come out. I go to sleep. I ain't got, you know, I ain't got nowhere to be. I was working at a restaurant. I work at night on the weekends. You know, I ain't got nowhere to be. I'm sleeping and missing the whole day and waking up at like 12 o'clock p.m. Like, that was me and how stressed out I was. And that's what I did to myself, because I decided that it was easier for me to to have something to complain about, because if I have something to complain about, it's not my fault. You know, I don't have to hold myself accountable. Like I can say like life is so fucked up, I don't want to be here anymore. Like I could say all of that stuff, but I'm still here, but I'm still, you know, being miserable. So with my weight gain was the one deciding factor. I was like, yo, like, is stress really making me gain weight? That's wild. Okay, I started paying more attention in school. I switched my major. I was like, let me learn about this shit that's happening to me and try to understand why I did some of the shit that I did in the past.
Yeah.
And let me move, you know, let me start healing. And so that's why I got to the place that I am now, because it's not worth it. And it might be fun or funny, but that shit gonna catch up to you. If it hasn't already, that shit's gonna catch up to you. Damn, I forgot. I lost what I was about to say.
Finally it happened to you. This is the first time you did that.
You know how you just get distracted real quick and you like fucking, I don't know, fucking banana. And then you're like, oh shit, what was I talking about? Like that just happened to me. I just like spaced out. But that's all I had to say. I was getting too fired up anyway. So go ahead and you take it. I'm just saying, like, it's that shit, it catches up to you. And it probably already has, you just didn't know it. But just look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I happy? And then ask yourself, why not? Like, is it a choice?
Yeah.
Because you could be happy. It's so fucking easy to be happy.
But let's not be the toxic positivity, because you know.
Brittany, I don't even know when you said that to me, I don't even know what you mean by toxic positivity. I never heard, like, I feel like that's taking it overboard. Like, we already got toxic, masculinity, like now everything. Like, I mean,
toxic, yeah, no.
What do you mean by that? Because like I'm very interested, because I want to see
if a whole nother topic for another day, girl.
All right, well we'll let it go. But I don't know, when you said that to me before, I was like why is she say that? Because I think you were referencing somebody, but I was like, what the hell is toxic positivity? What's wrong with being positive?
There's nothing wrong with being positive. It's just one of those things where when you're going through stuff, sometimes people don't want to hear be fucking happy. Fuck yeah. Well, I mean, of course I want to be fucking happy, but in this particular moment, I'm not. So what?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't just call that toxic though. I would just say somebody looking out for you, because at the end of the day, that person don't have to listen to you. So if all the energy that they have to give to it is, you'll figure it out, or just be happy. Like, yeah, I get it. You just got hit by a car and somebody telling you it's all going to work out. Yeah. You kind of like, are you serious? I'm being a cast for the next 3 weeks. I just got hit by a car. So I can understand where you're coming from, but I don't know. I feel like some people just want to be helpful. They want you to feel like you can talk, but some people don't really want to insert themselves all the time. So,
or some people don't want to address what you really are feeling and going through, or getting deeper to like going deeper with it. So they just dress it up with, you'll be fine, just be happy, instead of really trying to understand why I feel the way that I feel. Where is it coming from? Because if this is something that is constantly happening, then it's like, damn, I care about this person. I don't want to just tell them, be happy. Let's talk about this. So what's going on? Why do you feel like you're feeling this way? Like, to me, you're attacking it more. You're really showing that you understand. And then that makes the person feel like, okay, maybe if I'm listening to this person in this moment that's telling me, like, just give me more. I don't know. That's how I feel. Give me a little bit more than like, be happy, or like, everything's going to be okay.
I get it, but you know, in a sense of us all being human, you know, sometimes people, you know, going through shit and they don't want to, you know, listen to yours. You know, I can say, you know, and that happened to me a few times, like, oh, you always figure it out, because that's the truth. Like, you're gonna figure it out. This is all, I have nothing else to give you but these simple words of encouragement. You know, like, they could just be like, oh girl, yeah, I feel bad for you, give you nothing out of it. They could literally just give you more of a reason to be more sad or more upset or angry about what you're going through. But at least they tried to tell you like or remind you, because you know it too. They just tried to remind you like, you know, just be happy or don't worry about it, move forward. But I mean, like I said, I understand where you're coming from, but I think that we need to not take something positive, like the word positive, and make it a negative, because it's
Yeah.
making it negative. I don't know. That's my opinion. But
Why you look so irritated?
do I? I'm actually
No,
in a
just
good mood.
now.
See, Brittany, you're not supposed to be calling me out for my
I'm
RBF.
sorry.
We literally we said, you know, I do my best, but I guess I don't have a friendly face. Like I'm used to not smiling. So I try. I actually thought I was doing pretty good. Like I feel like I look a little bit lively right now.
No, you're fine. It wasn't a resting. It was just like after you said what you said, you were like,
That's just my opinion when I said that.
yeah.
No, because I was just, I feel like a lot of stuff, like the world's just changing. Like, I feel like I say this all the time, but like things are just so different from what they were like before, before I went to the Navy. And so, like, when I see like how the world is changing and people are starting like not necessarily being more accepting of people that are different from them, but they're tolerating it, right? Because they don't want to, even if it's because they know if they say something they're going to get some, they're going to hear about it. But
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are able to be themselves more often these days, no matter how we personally feel or how we can relate to it or not. And so like I just see the world changing, and to me that's a good thing. It's good for people to just be able to fucking walk around here saying, I'm a unicorn, and just like, all right, I accept you. Like, how many times have people in the beginning of the year, you changing who you are? People thought, this and that about you. But isn't it nice to just have, acceptance and still have, your friends and your family like love you and accept you for who you are? And so I'm just saying, like, just because like this makes no sense what I'm saying, but basically I'm just saying, why take something positive and turn it into a negative? And I feel like because we are changing like so much as I guess the US, we're kind of starting to take good things and also trying to make them bad. And I don't like that. Like I don't like that word toxic positivity. Positivity for me, like, and this is not specifically like towards you, but for me, someone that's going to say that is somebody that is saying in that situation they don't want to be positive, and that's okay. Just say that, but don't call somebody toxic because they trying to make you feel better.
I mean, I feel you. Like I said, I feel like that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, we've been talking about that too long.
Yeah.
My bad. I was really interested because you said it to me a while ago, and I'm like, what does she mean by that? I don't get it. But I understand where you're coming from. You understand where I'm coming from. I'm just saying we don't have to make everything so fucking complicated. Like we don't
No,
have to make
actually, I do feel like spirituality is making stuff a little complicated. And I've been like, I've fell victim to that before a lot. And like I said, that's something we can talk about another time. Like that's whole new topic. But no, I think that just to kind of wrap it up, like I feel like everything that we kind of touched on today about coping coping mechanisms and escaping and just kind of like hiding under our own stuff is really just like ineffective. Like it's not going to aid towards growth. It's not going to aid towards healing. It's just not going to make you feel good. Like physically, you're just not going to feel good. And I feel like, these conversations are so necessary to have, and it can really move us forward. Like if we just talk more within our peer groups about stuff that we're going through and not see it as like a burden or see it as like a negative thing if someone wants to share. Now, of course, you want to like make sure the person is in the space to receive what you're saying to them, because that's important. But if they are, then share. There's nothing wrong with sharing. There's nothing wrong with us being vulnerable and like being loved. Like,
Yeah. And I mean, just back on the topic of you saying like why we're trying to have these conversations. So like it might seem boring. These might seem like boring things to talk about, but trust me, like once you start, like I personally feel like once you actually start putting in work and actually start choosing to be happy, like this shit ain't gonna be so boring no more. It's not gonna be so boring talking about how like growth and how to do better and talking about some of your bad experiences, you know? So I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess in a sense from certain I guess certain people's mindsets, I guess, you know, being happy could be more boring than chaos.
yeah.
But I don't know. We hope that, you know, we said something beneficial to whoever's going to be watching this episode today. And yeah, do you have anything else to add?
No, that's all, folks. It's been real. Episode number 4. Peace.
I always wanted to do that. Ooh.